Okay, so I'm coaching Synnthara. She's an Emerald jungle main. Are you still Emerald?
Yeah, hard
Okay,
stuck.
an Emerald jungle main. And she also creates content. You can talk about your content for a second if you'd like.
Hi, my name is Synnthara. I make videos on card games and MOBAs like Supervive and Wild Rift.
Supervive looks awesome, by the way. I've seen
It's
a few
fun.
streams. Yeah, it looks really good. I'll have her links in the description, so if you're interested, go check that out. Okay, so give me an update since our last coaching session in terms of what has been working and what hasn't for you.
So I'm very good at taking your advice. I am just plowing through the jungle, and now I feel like I'm super ahead of everyone else, like in gold, but I'm not, I don't know if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing with that advantage. Sometimes I feel like I just can't capitalize on it or I don't know how to capitalize on it. So I'll be like 5,000 gold ahead or like two whole items ahead. And I just don't know how to win after that.
Okay, that's a really good problem to have because at least now you're in the driver's seat, right? So it's your decisions that are gonna have the most impact. Okay, I'll look through the games and I'll see exactly what the issue is in terms of macro or in terms of why we can't close out games.
Okay.
Okay, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. That is my bad. Okay, hop into my screen share.
Okay. See it.
Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so you're starting blue buff, which I do like because if you start blue buff, I'm not sure if I mentioned this last time, you pretty much have blue buff for your first jungle clear, and then since you get red buff almost last, you have red buff for longer, which is gonna help in the first ganks, right? Since red buff is more useful because it gives a slow.
Yeah.
I do wanna know who the enemy jungler is, so I'm just gonna like skip ahead a bit and then go back. Because the early game, I'll skip way ahead. Okay, Jax. Because the jungle matchup does matter quite a bit in the early game. Because it kind of allows you to know if you want to fight the enemy jungler, if you want to invade them, how aggressively you want to play. So Jax actually probably beats you in the early game because his third ability just completely counters Zhao. And he probably beats you in the late game too, because it's just a hard counter.
He gets really strong really fast.
Yeah. Okay, you're clearing your camps really well. Perfect. You're doing the auto attack cancel super well too. You actually have two ADCs mid this game, Varus versus Tristana. That's funny. Synnthara's actually pretty good into their team too, because they have like a lot of range damage with Caitlyn and Tristana, and you can avoid that with your ulti. So, one quick point, I know I've mentioned this on the previous coaching session for sure, but ideally while you're clearing your jungle, right, and there's nothing for you to be doing, you should be taking peeks on the lanes just to collect information, right? Like right now something's happening mid lane. I'd like to know if like Jax used his flash or if Jax used, I think that's flash, he could have ghost. But I'd like to know what Jax used to get the skill. I'm
Okay.
assuming he used flash. I'm not sure how he was able to get to Varus otherwise. But you should be peeking through the lanes just to collect information, right? Like especially right now, you're pathing to bot lane, you're pathing to the Malphite Shen lane. You should be looking at the lane so you can see where the wave is at, right? Is Malphite pretty far pushed? Are there still any minions here? By the time I come, will there still be minions here? Will Malphite be overextended? You know, that type of information. You cleared the ward, Malphite knows, so he's gonna back off. You did skip your Krugs. And I don't think this will give you level 5 now. Yeah, you'll have to go back for it, perhaps. Ideally, you want to do the Krugs first and then the Scuttle, so you're in a better position to gank once you do get level 5.
Okay.
But it's not super important. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any lane is super gankable, so this could actually be an opportunity for a dive, but you're gonna have to look at what's happening, right? Because you don't know if Malphite is level 5 yet. He shouldn't be level 5 yet, though. Yeah, even now you're kind of blindly thinking about it. So I'm pretty sure that Malphite is level 4 because this is the wave that he'll get level 5 on, and the wave is pushing, so he hasn't cleared these minions yet. Obviously we can't see it, which kind of sucks. But this would be a situation where ideally you move your camera to Malphite, right? And he's half HP, and if he's not level 5, he's super easy to dive. So you just go around and one-shot him with Shen. And Shen does have his ult because he's pushing the wave, so he's already level 5. And worst case scenario, he can even ult you to save you from dying to the turret. So, the main point so far is when you're clearing the jungle, you want to be taking peeks at the lanes. But when you're thinking about a gank, you definitely need to look at the lane and see what's happening. Like even now the dev might be possible, but I'm pretty sure he's level 5 at this point. Yeah, he is level 5, but he's super low. Perfect. That's exactly what should have happened, just quite a bit earlier.
Okay.
But that was good. So, another point I'd like to mention. Here you could actually do something really greedy. Because we see Jax in the dragon lane, he showed here. I don't know if you saw him in time, but you could just cancel your base and go use Grump and then use a blue buff. Because there's no way that you can defend these. And you always have... I'm assuming Malphite must have ulted Shen before. So he wouldn't have ult. And they can't really kill you. It's always good to look for counter jungle opportunities. Nice, well played. Especially in Emerald, by the way, there's always going to be so many opportunities where the enemies are just staying with super low HP and you can just go one-shot them.
Yeah, sometimes I could just run past a ward and they don't even see it.
Yeah, it's really common. I'll just skip ahead, I'm assuming you just continue full clearing here. Good. Okay, I'm assuming you're waiting for Herald to spawn?
Yeah.
Good. We love Herald especially, because it's Mountain Dragon and it's useless. You can go for another dive. Very well played. Your team's kind of venting, but you're in the position to carry this game if you play well. So I'll point this out because it's important, but it's not a big deal this time. So here, once you make this play, instead of basing right away, what you can do, because Jax was again topside, I think, right? He was topside a while ago, maybe he's base already. But you could check if his wolves are up, and his Grump is about to spawn. You'll see it spawn on the minimap because you had information of it dying. So you have again counter jungled, which is pretty important, especially when you're ahead. It's like the best way of completely denying the enemy jungler, because he loses so much gold. Okay, this looks like a really good fight. Oh, disaster. Yeah, Draven is so tanky. Your team did end up getting a kill though, which is good. Back to blue buff. So far you've been playing really good. Your early game has gotten quite a bit better in terms of balancing farming and ganking. Because you still made like a huge impact, right? All of your team's kills are because of you.
Yeah.
So you still had a good impact, but you're also balancing farming. You're level 10. You're super far ahead in gold. You'll need to like show me the scoreboard before I can see that though, but yeah. This guy's tanky. Damn. Alright. So the main issue here is that this guy's incredibly tanky. I'm not sure what his first item is. Assuming maybe Thornmail. Yeah, honestly, not that much you could have done because Malphite started with his ult and then they just chain CC'd you and you were crowd controlled the entire time. That guy was super tanky. It'd be nice if like Shen ulted you here, but I guess he didn't have time either. Alright, so running here is kind of a waste of time. Because again, you want to play with your jungle camps. You want to go Grump, Wolves, like that should be your clear every time. Unless everything is up, then you can do it the other way. But now you're just running there possibly to protect the turret, right?
Yeah.
But if you moved your screen, you would have seen that, you know, you can't save this turret. It's too low HP. And now you just came here and kind of just wasted a lot of time. You do get the Skull Crab, or does he steal it? Oh, he steals it. Oh no, wait, you did get it. Nice, you got it at least. Okay, nice, you find the Caitlyn as well. You push mid, but you can't. Raptors. Okay, you go back to farming, good. Yes, so for fights like this, again, I know I keep saying this, but it's super important, especially when you play jungle. You need to move your camera to see what's happening with the fight, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're just blindly kind of walking in, hoping that this is a good engage. And it's not, it's a terrible engage. Now you can also kind of see on the minimap, right, where the champions are positioned. Like we see Jax coming, we see all four of them, right? And they jump on Lux. I can't really tell if she's surviving or what's happening exactly. But Jax hasn't gone in yet, so she can easily just counter your engage and just stop you. And you die without even ulting, right? So this was just a completely terrible fight. And then, like, this is like almost a game-losing fight, right? Because you're the most fed one on your team, so you're expected to have a lot of value during these fights.
Yeah.
So, the main reason that it went so bad, obviously this wasn't a good engage, but I think the main reason it went so bad is that you didn't have the information you needed to find a good engage, right? If you, right here,
I
like...
thought I was gonna go around and just get on Caitlyn, but because the minimap icons are so small, I didn't see that Jax's icon was overlapped with hers.
Yeah. I don't even know if we saw Jax here. He might be somewhere in there, right? I'm not really... Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's hiding behind Caitlyn. But if like you looked around, before even, like now that you finished blue buff, if you looked at this fight, maybe it would make more sense to go the other way around and just fight them head on, you know? And this does have the potential to be a good fight, because even though Varus is dead, right, Malphite is all the way on the other side of the map. So there's still a 4v4, it does have the potential to be a good fight if you just find the right engage. And Varus is like the weakest in your team because he's inting. And I mean, obviously, you also played the fight bad, right? Like, once this happened, you should just ult and then still try to jump on Caitlyn. Like, if you ult, I'm pretty sure it's not going to knock him back because he's already your nemesis or whatever the Zhao passive is.
Yeah.
But I think it also makes you tankier, like your ult gives you more stuff than just the knockback. And you could still jump on Caitlyn and maybe at least kill Caitlyn, then this fight could go better. Because he's still outputting a lot of DPS. So if Caitlyn did die there, she wouldn't have done all this extra damage. And maybe even then the fight would have gone better. Like, the way that the fight should go, in theory, is you need to find a way to engage on Tristana and Caitlyn, and Shen needs to ult you at the same time. Or if they engage onto you, like if Malphite ults onto your team, that's when Shen's gonna do like a defensive ult, right? Oh, you were the deciding vote.
Yeah. As like I'm recording, we can't surrender.
Exactly. Oh, this Jax has like the worst build of all time too. But if you look at the gold, right, you're, other than Jax who just got a triple kill, so you're probably like even gold with him before this fight, you are ahead of everyone else in the game, right? So it was up to you to really make a play. And so he's got one shot versus Jax, who again completely counters you because he used his third ability, right? And
Yeah.
like, you're already half HP before the fight starts. He drops his ult, and now he just bonks you. Clear the jungle. To be honest, I would probably fight that, considering that Lux and MF are here, while Jav and Caitlyn are super far away. And maybe Shen can always ult you if you jump on the Jax. Jumping on the Malphite is a no-go though, because you don't do damage to this guy. Like, you would need to get Mortal Reminder. You do get him, he didn't ult, which is weird. Enemies are so tanky. Oh, and your misfortune is just mispositioned. Oh, nice. Good pick. That's actually really good. You saw her and like with a split second, you're like, okay, I'm jumping in, I'm going. No hesitation. Nice. Jax is super squishy as well. Here you guys could, in theory, do Baron, just to bait them. Okay, you're actually calling for it. Nice. Nice, you're playing these fights really good as well. Here you have to turn and go Baron, most likely. Actually, I don't know if you have the HP for it, because Malphite still has ulti.
I think I thought we were all too low.
Yeah, Malphite still had ult.
Then.
But so far, this was good. Like, this is actually a really good fight. You played this super well. Right. You guys probably shouldn't. Wait, who's up? I can't even tell.
I think Jax just came up.
They should have one more champion. Oh, Caitlyn. Okay, yeah, you totally can. You totally can. And the waves are pushed too. Oh, this is perfect. How do you lose this game from this point?
That's a great question.
Thornmail. I do like the Thornmail considering their team comp, but what you have to consider is that obviously you thought, oh, they have so many ADCs, right?
Yeah.
If you saw the scoreboard again. But Jax is going full AP.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that at the time.
Yeah, so well, Thornmail I still think is probably... I'm not sure if it's the best, but it's still really good. Jax is going full AP, so you need to keep that in mind. He will be one-shotting you, because you don't have that much HP. Because Thornmail gives like a little bit of HP and a lot of armor. Okay, you want to be using the shield with a T-Hex. Use the shield. There you go. Alright, you gotta be frontlining. You're not an ADC with T-Hex. You gotta walk up there. Nice. Alright, next wave you can get a turret. It's unfortunate that you didn't get any kills there. They're all pretty low, but you should be able to get turret. Nice. How do you lose this game? Is this idol just baiting me? Oh, big engage from the Jax. I'm assuming like Malphite Jax get like an insane wombo combo or something in like an important team fight. I keep using the shield. So, little T-Hex tip. Like in this situation, for example, like where you're in between the front line and the back line, you can use, like this is perfect, but now you should use your tail whip to push Malphite and Tristana away, so they can be auto-attacking your team, you know. But your team also has no mana. But this was like a fairly successful Baron play, because when you get Baron super early, it's not that useful. But this was super successful. Okay, now you guys are being really greedy though. Jack spawning in 2 seconds. You can... Okay, this is... Okay. So, this is the biggest macro mistake that I see anywhere in pretty much every elo. Like, even in Sovereign this happens. So, you guys just did your Baron push, right?
Yeah.
3 of them are dead. They still have 2 alive. But there's only 2 of you here. Lux's base, right? Jack's gonna spawn in 10 seconds. Your options are to try and greed for the turret and hope that somehow Tristan and Caitlyn cannot defend, and that Jax is gonna be AFK and he's not gonna come and kill you. Or the other play you can do is just completely take their jungle, right?
Yeah.
So right now, you could at least be taking Raptors and whatever this is, red buff, and then recalling for the dragon. Or even because of the dragon, I'm not sure if this is probably 3rd dragon, so you do want to stop them from taking it. Maybe you should even recall immediately and go to the dragon. That's also a good play. But if you are going to be greedy, you should go greedy for the jungle, not for the inhibitor.
Okay.
Because first of all, you can get it. I don't think you're ever getting this. I'll tell you exactly what I think is going to happen. I think that you're not going to be able to take the inhibitor. They're going to be able to clear the wave. Jax is going to spawn. You're probably going to run away and survive, but Misfortune will die. Let's how correct I am. Okay, no one died, which is actually pretty good. But you guys didn't get any of their jungle, so you didn't deny them any camps. You just kind of, like, ever since right here, right, 1428, or even earlier, 1423. Actually, let's say that clearing this wave is fine. So 1426 and 1446, so 20 seconds of doing nothing, right? This could be 20 seconds of basing and spending 2,700 gold. Could be 20 seconds of stealing enemy camps, right? You probably still one-shot this before Jax comes, which is good. But, so Misfortune didn't recall either, right? She's like, she cancels her recall. So you have 2,700 gold, right? I'm assuming Misfortune has a similar amount after the team fight. Zind or Shen already used his ulti to get to Dragon Ace up. This fight that's about to happen, you guys are down like 5,000 gold and no Shen ult. Right?
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a disaster fight. The goal here should be to back off. Misfortune is already dead. Okay, your entire team just got one shot. Are you the one pinging back? You are, but it's a little too late.
It's not happening.
So was just a terrible fight in terms of the positioning of the fight. Like a terrible timing for a fight. Yeah, but unfortunately this is what happens in lower reloads all the time. Okay, you clear your jungle, good. Why do you go anti-shield? They have...
I think this is like Malphite and Jarvan. I was like, so, I need to kill them faster, but...
To kill them faster, you wouldn't go anti-shield, right? You would go anti-armor. You'd go the Mortal Reminder. Which would actually be really good this game, because...
I think I get confused with that shield item, like that it does something it doesn't do.
So the anti-shield item, pretty much whenever they have like an actual shield, so like Malphite passive or Jarvan's second ability gets decreased, right?
Yeah.
So this is like a very situational item. I would get it only if like there's a lot of shields.
Okay.
And especially this late into the game, you would get so much more value from a Mortal Reminder in terms of damage, or a Sterix Cage in terms of being tankiness. You guys are now in a pretty weird spot because they got like all the shutdowns and they've evened out the gold. I'm not sure if you show the...
Yeah, this right here is my big question of what should I have done here? Because Misfortune just kind of decided that she was going to do her own thing. And they're doing Baron, and I don't know how to react to this specific moment right here.
So, since you're playing jungle, you also have the option to steal, right? There's 2 things you can do. You do have Lux and Varus too, who can snipe the Baron at low HP. Obviously, you don't want to fight a 5v4. So all you can do when Misfortune does stuff like that is attempt to steal the Baron, but don't fight. And you should be the only one that dies for it if somebody dies. You're like, this isn't great. Like, Shen ulted way too soon. You obviously don't have a... Okay, you didn't get the Baron, you need to back off. This is just misfortune trolling. Like, it kind of is what it is, you know? The problem with Wild Rift is that it's a team game, right? It's 5 versus 5, so one person doing a mistake
Yeah.
could lose you the game even though you're playing perfectly, but eventually those players go down, and as long as you're consistently playing well, you go up. Yeah, okay, this is also really bad. Once the enemies get Baron, especially a 17-minute Baron, so a lot of players actually don't know this, but Baron isn't only just for the Baron buff, the T-Hex, right? Baron actually gives you magic resist, armor, AP, and AD. And the longer the game, like the later you get the Baron, the stronger it becomes.
Okay.
So at 17 minutes, the enemies have like a shit ton of armor, a lot of magic resist, a lot of AD, a lot of AP. So ideally you don't want to fight them unless like you have to contest Elder Dragon or something. Or it's like a really good fight. But yeah, it looks like your team fought them. It was a disaster. And I'm assuming that now they just end the game.
Yeah.
Oh no, they didn't. You still have a chance on Elder Dragon. But it looks like you're gonna be there a little too late. Yeah, you just walked into...
Yeah, I was hoping I could get close enough, but it's still like so high health. I don't know. I guess I was like, if we lose this, it's like over.
I mean, you're right. Just the approach to the team fight is a little weird. The problem is that you walk right into the bomb that's about to explode from Tristana. Like, you've lost half your HP already. A couple more decks and you're just dead. You haven't even ulted yet. Like, well, the issue is also your build because you want the anti-shield item, so you're not tanky and you don't really do that much damage either. But this was just running into them without really a plan in mind. And again, this way you should move the camera before the fight starts to kind of see how you should approach it. Like, so far you had one really good fight and two really, really bad fights. Obviously, even if you played this perfectly, I think you'd still lose, but...
Are you still moving when you're moving the camera? Like, are you using that little square to see where you are? Like, so you're not just like running into a wall or something?
So, the way that I do it... Oh, well.
Echo.
So... Here's a game I just uploaded of me playing Echo. So... Before, this is kind of what I was talking about in terms of... Before you gank, you should look at what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So, I take one sneak peek, and I see... Like, I can barely see it, but it's enough for me to see the wave, right? And that's what matters. I'm saying that the wave is going to stay here on the next one. I don't know if maybe I can pause it in time. That was a very quick sneak peek. Okay, so all I see is that, okay, the wave is going to meet in the middle again. So I know where the wave is going to be for the next wave, right? I know where the minions are going to be positioned. Then I clear and I look again to see her HP. Now I see that her HP is super tiny and I'm looking for a roam. Like, even while moving, I still have my camera here, right? I do it with since I play on an iPad, and I think you play on an iPad too. I use my thumbs for the abilities, and then I use my pointy finger to move the camera. Right, on my right pointy finger, I use to move the camera. So I'm moving my champion while I have my camera here, right? And I know this is an easy gank. Go and get a free kill. Right? In fights later on, jumped like a team fight. Actually, I don't know if there's team fights in this game. I think I just completely stomped them. I guess I might do it here. No, I'm just clearing. I'm trying to find like a good moment where there's like an actual team fight. Where I move my camera. But I don't think this game was any team fights. Anyway. And again, you see how I'm thinking of going for a gank. I move my camera to see what's happening, so I know where to go and how to engage, right? I get more information this way. I see Lucian kind of walking into this, so I'm getting ready. But I've also checked his HP. I've checked the minions, you know? That's kind of what I mean with moving the camera.
Okay.
So, since you play on a tablet too, you can definitely use your pointy finger. Do you see my cursor, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, you can use your pointy finger to kind of move the camera while still using your abilities if you really need to, for example.
Okay.
I think moving your thumb all the way here might be a little hard on a tablet, so it might be better to use your pointy finger. But if you really want to, you can always tap on the map as well to move the camera. And it's obviously a long-term habit, right? I don't expect you to do this in a week or even a month. It's just, as you play, try to keep in mind and try to start moving at least a little bit, you know?
Okay.
And unfortunately, even though you did play well this game, your team completely threw it. The only big macro moment where I think you definitely should have done something differently was this.
Okay.
Instead of going for this inhibitor, the thought process should always be when you're doing a big push with Baron is, okay, we're using Baron, we're gonna push in and take turrets or look for a good fight, right? That happened. Now
It was good enough that we only took that middle turret with Baron. That was considered successful, or is that we wasted the Baron?
No, it was totally successful because it's a very early Baron, right? And Baron gets stronger the later you get it. So it also doesn't really matter if it is successful, right? You just do your best to make it successful, but if it's not, that doesn't mean you should commit more resources to make it successful, right?
Okay.
You don't need to double down. But you do the initial push, right? Now you have 19 seconds on Baron. You can't, I mean, I know that you can get this inhibitor turret, but even if you could, it's too risky considering the situation. You have way too much gold. The dragon is spawning. Your two options are either to base and go for dragon with a lot of gold or to steal the enemy jungle camps. On your way back from the push, you want to, ideally in a perfect situation, you push in, you get the turrets, you go take the jungle camps, you base, right? Obviously this was a little weird because the fight dragged on for a long time. But here you can take the jungle camps and then use your Baron recall before the Baron runs out. I'll just take Raptors in base, or maybe I'll just take Red buff in base. So you can spend this gold, and hopefully that will encourage Misfortune to do the same. Obviously, Misfortune could just stay here by herself, like an idiot. But this also wastes your flash, right? Which, I don't know if you noticed, but in the fights where you didn't have flash, they were way harder for you. And the fights you did have flash, they were super easy, because you just flash on the backline and one-shot them. So macro-wise, this was obviously the big mistake. But then micro-wise, the team fight, the fight approach, we had two really, really bad ones, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was this one. No, this was unlucky, to be honest. Yeah, it was this fight where you just approached it a little further, you do the blue buff, and now you just approach it and you face check Jax, and again, you don't have flash. If you had flash here, you could ignore the Jax, right? So it's important to not waste your flash on Zhao in terms of just walking into the inhibitor turret. I want to show the fight that was actually really good, how that played out, right? This fight was really good. Well, first of all, it's 4v4. I guess it's 4v4 because Misfortune is inting in the backline. You were able to jump on the backline, kill the Caitlyn, right? That's why this fight was very, very good. And then you just won before the Jax because you overextended, and then you cleaned up and you got Baron. This was your game-winning play, and this was really good. But the other two fights were really bad. And I think both of them, the main issue was that you didn't... Talk about this fight. You didn't really approach them correctly because you didn't have information on where the enemies are positioning. Even here, you can't really tell from the minimap what is going on, right? And I doubt you're even looking at the minimap at this point. So in those cases, it's important to move your camera and just kind of get a quick grasp of what's happening. But again, this isn't something that, you'll do tomorrow, but it's a long-term improvement plan.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next game. What do I do with a split pusher? So hopefully it's not the same split pusher as Misfortune last game, and it's like an actual useful split pusher.
Oh, it's much worse. I think this Garen just like refused to play with us at any time. So I didn't know what to do or how to play around him.
Yeah, that's not always bad depending on what he does, right? Like if he's actually getting value, if he's getting turrets, if enemies are coming there and are being distracted, then that could be good. It just kind of depends on what he does. Okay, he already died. So ideally you don't want to split push when you're behind. Split pushing is something you do when you're ahead. Why do you walk this way? You taking the long way?
Yeah, I don't know why I ended up over there.
Okay. Again, right, you want to be checking the lane. Like this, I don't know how gankable this actually is. I'm assuming Seth doesn't have flash. But you could be level 5 because you guys solo kill early on. Yeah, he's level 5. Yeah, this is kind of a waste of time. He might even kill you, to be honest. Oh. Yeah, if you used your second ability earlier, maybe he would have even killed you. Anyway, you just wasted everything. You wasted flash, you wasted ult, you wasted your whole HP, and you didn't even get killed, right?
Yeah.
So if at this point you peaked, right, you could have seen he's about to hit level 5, I need to go now. You wouldn't path this way, you wouldn't go all the way around, right? Because he just hit level 5, I believe. Or even if he didn't hit if he was already level 5, you should be able to see that, hey, look, Seth is level 5, Garen is level 3, I'm level 4. This gank is never gonna work. We're never killing this guy. Not in a million years. Right? And you wouldn't do all of this effort.
Yeah.
And even here, like, this is closer because he's turning back to auto attack. He could just run away if he wanted to. But he's just trying to bait you into diving him so he can kill you with his second ability. Which he used super late because of the silence. So he almost messed it up, to be honest. But in theory, this gang would never work. So that's why you want to take a peek. Okay, this gang won't work. I'm just going to go for Skull Crab. And maybe I can... And if you went for Skull Crab here, right? And you see the Talon gank mid, you could counter gank this, right? You could have done something else.
Yeah.
And maybe you have killed the Talon. Maybe you have killed the Lux. And this could, like, turn how the... Maybe Varus wouldn't die, right? This could turn how the game would go just from the start. And now you're going to lose a Skull Crab too, because... Well, you're just 10 HP, thanks to thanks to your little scuffle. Oh, you really want to help this Garen?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why I got obsessed with ganking that set.
Alright, so here's another tip, right? You usually, when you play jungle, you want to play around your winning lanes, not your losing lanes. The problem with Garen is that he doesn't provide a lot of crowd control, he only provides damage. So ganking for him is already kind of hard, considering that Zhao mostly provides damage as well, right? There's some crowd control too. But this gank is really hard to do against Seth as well, because Seth gets this massive shield, right?
Yeah.
So this game after Garen got solo killed, that's probably just completely ignored, to be honest. Unless he really needed my help to protect from a dive or something. And again, thankfully you base here, but imagine that you didn't base, right? And you're sitting here with like 250 HP trying to bait a gank, and Talon jumps on you.
Yeah.
So like, even before all of this happens, like if Talon is straight away, instead of going, he's probably going to blue buff or Grump. Let me see, does he have blue buff? He doesn't have blue buff, and he started red side, so he's probably going to get blue buff, and then he comes for the gank. But if he skipped blue buff and went straight here, you guys would both probably die. Because you have low HP, no flash, no ulti. So you're first of all, you're wasting time. But if you wasted just a little more time, or if Talon didn't do blue buff, you would both die here. Right? That's also why you don't want to play around your losing lanes, because in the 2v2 you will always lose. Because this guy's already losing the 1v1. Ah, you moved the camera, nice. W.
I trying a little bit.
I think you did with the map, right?
I think so, yeah.
No, because... No, you... I think you dragged, because with a map there's no point for you to put your finger on top of your character first. Anyway, that was good that you looked. Clearing jungle. I'm I'm assuming this is worded from the way that they're playing, but you should definitely like look at them. And by looking at them too, you're gonna start thinking, oh, they're moving this way because it's worded, right? You're gonna start understanding if things are worded a lot better too. And because players immediately play different when they spot someone a word. I try to be as nonchalant as possible when I see the enemy jungler, just so they don't know that this is worded, you know? I'll continue playing kind of normally, but in a way where I know I'm safe. Oh, nice gank. Good setup from Tosh. Look at it again. Yeah, he put the pink word there. Perfect. He just walked up them and killed them. Didn't even need the lantern. See, and this is also why you want to play around your winning lanes, right? Because Thresh and Jinx are winning, you are allowed to go into the enemy jungle and kind of do things. Perfect. Like, you're only allowed to do this because you have such a hard-winning duo lane. Like, if you did this on the other side of the map, it wouldn't go to this well, because Garen's obviously useless, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Nice. And you get out. Perfect. Skull Crab, recall from bot side. Herald is spawning. And again, obviously, I do prefer the Herald, but just starting this without knowing where Talon is risky. Because if Talon comes here, Sed is going to come here, and it's a disaster. You will lose. So ideally, you get information on where Talon is going to go first. And Yumi's actually with Sed as well. So this is actually kind of risky, because if Talon comes here, we're in big, big trouble. Okay, Talon's on the other side of the map. We're good. I want to see you go counter jungle now. Or at least check the camps. Okay, you're going for the Talon. Okay, I respect that too. Because Yumi's not here, so that's actually really good. I forgot about the Hex portals. Okay, this was not great though. So,
not great.
when you go in on someone and there's people around, you want to ult, right? If you ult it here, you wouldn't take the Lux damage. It still might have been a little too ambitious, but if you lived a little longer here, Thresh would come and lantern you and save you.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a little too ambitious to begin with. You jump on him when your team is like not that close. But you definitely should have ulted though. Even though the macro play was actually good. Okay. And your team does secure the dragon. What the hell? You're just walking to the wall. You clear jungle. Nice. Nice. Really well played. Ideally, I think you need to like once you jump on someone, you want to be ulting right away, by the way.
Okay.
Like if you're gonna ult, it's better just do it right away, I think. Because, let me see, because I don't exactly remember what you get.
It blocks damage for like a couple seconds.
Blocks like the damage that's outside of the ult, right? So
Something like that.
any damage outside of the circle that's coming to you doesn't happen, right? It just gets blocked. But I think it does something more than that. Huh. Does it just do damage? I guess. So maximum health. Huh. I thought maybe also granted you like stats or something. But I guess not. But again, you probably want to be ulting like right away for the damage too. But this is actually well played. You baited him. Okay. And again, you want to be playing away from the Garen, right? The Garen is useless and weak because you're losing lane. This is a 3v3 that you're probably not winning because Garen is there. So every 3v3 with Garen, like imagine if Sed and Garen were not there, and you had like Varus and MF were here instead. This should be a good 3v3, right? But because of how far behind Garen is, you're just never winning that. Unfortunately, Jinx did not know that. Nice. Perfect. Talon 2. Perfect. And now you guys can get some gold back, because despite the score being 8-9, Garen is so far behind that you have gold bounties on the turrets. Oh. You really want to be in those gold bounties with your team. Thresh, give us a lantern. I guess he doesn't have it. Okay, but you're pushing for turret, which is good. Unfortunately, the gold bounties went away because now you're not that far behind in gold, which sucks because getting these gold bounties actually gives so much gold, especially when they're just about to go off. Like, it's actually a broken mechanic in Wild Rift because let's say that you're 4,000 gold down, right? You get the bounty, it gives you like 1,500 gold, and then you lose the bounty anyway because you're too close in gold. So now you would just get a free like 1,000 plus gold, pretty much for free. It's a really weird mechanic the way that they have it set up. Yeah, the turret set is coming, but this is a like decent fight, I think, because he's by himself. I wonder how if he's just that strong. Okay, he is just that strong. She doesn't even get him. Oh, that's a complete disaster. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing against that, and you have to be ready for it. Obviously, it's really hard to do in the fight.
Get
but
away from that punch.
It's okay to get hit by it, but don't get hit by the 2 damage in the middle, right? Like here, ideally, you walk up a bit and you dodge it. Also, another thing you could have done here, and you definitely should have, is ulted. Because your ult would interrupt the Misfortune ult, right? Right here, if you ult, it's gonna knock away Misfortune and cancel her ult. And then your Jinx can kill the set. But because she has to get zoned out by the Misfortune ult and go all the way over here, she can damage the set until that's over, right? And only now she can move again. But if you interrupted that like right away... So jumping in, ult. Right? Then Jinx can just walk here and just kill the set.
Yeah.
And help you guys out. And she ends up not getting him, which is a complete disaster. Yeah, he has 9,100 gold. He has 1,000 gold over you, and you're the second most fought champion. Also, I don't recommend Amaranth as a second item, especially when you're this far ahead. Ideally, get like a second damage item or a bruiser item.
Okay.
It's just a little too early to go tanky. Also, like, the approach on this team fight isn't great either. Because Misfortune is in a position where if you're staying like on the edge of the bush, you could just go and kill the Misfortune first, which again would be ideal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and again here you use your second ability on the Misfortune, but then you jumped on the... I'm not sure if that was accidental or not.
I think I wanted to go on her, but I wasn't targeting correctly, and it just picked him because he was closer.
And like even here going on him is fine, because he's just in a 1v4, right, in a terrible position. But once he ults away, Jinx is now in a position to hit him, Varus is now in a position to hit him, so it doesn't make sense for you to be on him either.
Yeah.
But yeah, that second ability does insane damage. Anyway, it's not a complete disaster, like this game is still winnable. Because it's only set, right? Everyone else in their team is pretty far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting caught again. If I was set, I would be so angry at this. Yeah, this is also why I don't like Twin Guard right away, right? Look how low your damage is.
Yeah.
And you can't even one-shot the backline anymore. I would say Twin Guard like 3rd at the earliest, but usually like 4th item, maybe even 5th. Probably 4th. If you're gonna get Twin Guard. And now because you are just a tank, also keep in mind that set does true damage, so Twin Guard is like the worst item against them.
Yeah.
Because Twin Guard doesn't give any HP, right? It only gives armor and magic resist, which he ignores with his second ability. But if you're gonna be a tank like this, just jumping on Lux here doesn't really do anything. So he just walks away. Maybe it'd be better at least be kind of crowd controlling set, right? Knocking him up. I know. But yeah, Twin Guard second item, not great, because here you should be able to one-shot her.
Yeah.
Also, is this a max order on Zhao? This feels wrong. That's how I'm realizing.
Is what?
Is that the correct max order on Xin Zhao? Do you max your second ability then third ability? Wait, what do you max? Second
Um,
ability, third ability.
I maxed the second ability.
And then the third one?
I'm not sure if I did that on purpose or
You did it
I
on
don't
both of the
remember.
games. And I don't play that much Xin Zhao, so I'm not sure,
I
but
usually don't play him either, but he's just really good right now, so that's why I've been trying to pick him up.
alright, so this person's maxing the second ability. And then the third ability. Wait. Okay, yeah, that's what this guy's doing too. Oh, maybe that is correct. Yeah, maybe that is correct. What do I know? Somebody will correct us in the comments if it's not correct. That does seem odd to me though. You're doing dragon by yourself. Okay. So this is a weird situation because your team should be with you on dragon, but they're still messing with the set. So unfortunately, you do have to go help them, even though you're doing the correct thing.
Okay.
Oh, do you just?
Yeah, I just kind of yeeted out of there. I was like, oh, he's coming. I can't. I think
And
I
you go
wanted
back
to go.
in
I go back in. I
for the
think I get it,
smite?
actually. Yeah.
You definitely didn't need to flash her, I'll be honest. But it
I'm
looked
so
sick.
scared.
You definitely didn't need to, but I'll be honest, this did look sick. You're like, okay, I'm gonna escape, and then I'll come back with a blasting plant. But you definitely didn't need to. And again, here's the problem with Amaranth as a second item, right? You're just doing no damage to this guy.
Yeah.
Especially with a Yumi. Like, this will actually be a fine game. It's actually really funny. Despite me shitting on the anti-shield item last game, this would be a good game for the anti-shield item, right? Because Set has a massive shield that you can make way smaller. Lux has an AoE shield. Yumi has a shield, right?
Yeah.
And they're all making the Set super hard to kill. So, itemization-wise, the anti-shield item here would be so much more useful than Amaranth's. Okay, you did get a dragon though. So not all bad. You could get third dragon. Okay, you're just going full tank this game.
That's like my panic move whenever I'm think that I need to live. I just build everything tank. Then I don't think I'm as useful.
Yeah, I don't think you should be going this tanky this early on with Xin Zhao, right? Because
And then, yeah,
the,
Garen just chose to go top now, so I don't know if this was good to do or
I mean, you kind of
not
have to play this
really.
game with the, like, in your mind, Garen is not even a real champion, you know? What he has
Yeah.
been doing, right? I didn't point this out before, but while this was all happening, he actually did get an inhibitor.
But he got
So,
the tower, which I thought was pretty good.
like, honestly, this is probably the best thing that Garen can do, because he's turbo useless, right? But this way,
Yeah.
at least he's providing some value to you guys. So the enemies are doing Baron, right? Actually, let me touch on the tank thing first.
Okay.
This is when Xin Zhao is strongest, right? Like mid game, right? Early to mid game. Now you're kind of starting to fall off, so now starting to build tank is fine. But your first two items should almost always be like damage, bruiser, damage, right?
Okay.
So if you really want to, you can go Mortal Reminder, which is just the like max damage, but you can also go for other like bruiser items, right?
Okay.
Like what's the item called that you heal on your first? This one. I forgot what the name of it is. It's like the new one, the spear. Anyway, the one that you have like on your normal loadout.
Sunderer, I think it's called. Something Sunderer.
Thunder Sky, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could get that as a second item. Obviously, Eclipse and World Reminder are just way more damage and not as tanky focused, but I think you want to be going in mix in the early game, and then late game you can start building tank. Like, that's fine. Also here, your job is to get into the pit, right?
Yeah.
The dragon is Baron's at 3000 HP. Just walk in. Just go over here and jump in and try to steal it. And the awesome thing about Xin Zhao is that with his ulti, you can knock everyone away, so it makes it easier to steal. But you didn't even get... Oh my...
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over the wall, and I never ended up going over the wall, and then I just got one shot.
You got rooted by... Yeah, this was like a 3-man root into true damage on your entire team. Oh no. Moments before
disaster.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys all sat
We all
in
dropped.
the second ability of
Yeah, in
set.
hindsight, I should have just went the other way because I was right there. I should have just kept going that way.
But even if you're not looking for a steal, you're looking for a fight, this would be the way to go to kill the Misfortune and the Lux, right? But since you're so tanky this game, I don't even think you'd be able to kill them. Like, and this is the thing with split push, right? Let's say that Garen was here. Would he change the, the outcome of this fight? Probably not. He ends up getting a third, which honestly not all bad. Now you guys are super far behind is the issue. So even in a regular fight, you're probably gonna lose. Yeah. Let's look at the game losing points, because I'm assuming... I mean, you never know, they could throw. I'm just gonna kind of skip forward, see if there's any opportunities where you guys could still win. But this game is now really, really hard. Okay, they finished their Baron. They didn't get that much, because they just went mid and tried to end. Okay. There's actually a good macro play, right? Because you're threatening to get the 3rd dragon and get Infernal Soul. So the enemy team has to respect that and they have to go for dragon. And that gives you an opportunity to do Baron. And sneak Baron while they do it. Unfortunately, your team is low IQ and not as smart as you. Because if Jinx and Varus were here, this would melt, right? If right here as you're going, like if they started running to it right now, if they both started running into it, you would literally win the game. But your team didn't know. But this was a good try, in my opinion. Like, if your team was a little smarter and could follow your pings, you actually could have won this game because of that play. Okay, now they all die, of course, and I'm assuming they go and end. Yes, perfect. Okay. So, first of all, let's talk about your build for a second, because you've been playing quite a bit of Zhao now, and it's super important to start getting the builds right.
Okay.
And Zhao does have a lot of options in his build. So I see you're always going damage boots first, which I think is fine. However, you're not forced to go damage boots first on Zhao. You can also go tanky boots. So you rush the Trinity Force, and then you get tanky boots. I would only do that if you really need magic resist or armor. So in a game like this, obviously it's weird because Jax went full AP, but I guess you wouldn't have known that at this point. I'm talking about the first game, right?
Yeah.
This is a game where you could have gone armor boots, for example.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. It's like most of the time you're still going damage boots though. The second thing is ideally you want to do damage, like you want to do Trinity Force, and then bruiser item, tank, right? Your first 3 items should be like either bruiser items or damage items. So on this game, the ideal build would have been Trinity Force, Serpent's Fang, the anti-shield item, especially considering how fed Set is. And he has a Yumi. And then you can go for a damage item, like you could go for a bruiser item like Sterex, but you could just be greedy and go for even more damage and go for Moral Reminder, right? And then you can build Amaranth once you're actually a threat, right? Amaranth is not useful if you're not really a threat to the enemy team. If you're just tanky, they can just kind of ignore you or they can do true damage to you, right?
Yeah.
Like if we look at the fight where you were just kind of chasing Lux, not really being able to do anything on her.
Yeah, she could not be bothered by me.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not a threat, then what's the point of being tanky, right? But if you are capable of dealing a lot of damage, then having also the utility of being tanky is really good. Because they can kill you and you can kill them. So I'm going to write it on Discord too, but the main thing is Trinity, Bruiser, / damage, Bruiser / damage, tank. Something like this should be your build, right? Even the last 2 tank items, you can go bruiser items if you want, like a Sterex or a Guardian Angel, right? I consider that more tank, but they're like bruiser items that still give damage. The second thing is, I'm going to type on Discord too. before ganking, you should check the lanes.
Yes.
Right, especially when you're thinking about should I be ganking here. The best example of it was definitely the Malphite dive. Like you saw the example of when I was playing Echo versus Aurelia, how I checked before I came in for the gank. Right, so this is a play where, I mean, it's perfect because both of the games have a situation where checking would be useful. So here checking, you could check if you can dive Malphite. Things that I don't even know if you can or can't dive him because I don't know if he's level 5 or level 4 yet. Because you did kind of do your clear slow since you went Skull Crab and then Krugs. So maybe even now he's level 5. But maybe you could still dive even if he's level 5, right? But you don't know that if you don't check. And then you have this situation where I can tell you for a fact that you couldn't gank here, right?
Yeah.
And you're just wasting your entire gold, or not your entire HP bar, your ulti, and then you're in a situation where he bullies you off of Skull Crab, and then you sit here and waste your time, right? And you're just kind of making the early game way worse. Thankfully, you make a great play top lane and kind of come back and give your team opportunities to win. Because if you, like, look how badly this game went because Sed was so far ahead. If your bot lane wasn't ahead, or if your dual lane wasn't ahead, it would have gone even worse. And the last thing that's really important is you need to think about how to approach fights better, right?
Yeah.
So Zhao is a very, very easy champion to approach fights with because you just dash on the enemy, right? But you need to dash on the right enemy and you need to find the right position to go in, right? Like, for example, this was a really good fight engage, right? You went straight into someone squishy and you destroyed them. Later on, I mean, I think that was more of a misclick on your part, but it was the misfortune play top lane.
Yeah.
Can't find now, but oh, here's the Lux play that we're talking about too, where it's not dealing damage with Hammerants. Yeah, it's this play where I think obviously it's more of a misclick, but definitely should have gone misfortune first, and even here you should have ulted, right?
Yeah.
With your ultimate, obviously you want to use it in the most ideal way possible, but most of the time it's best to just use it, you know? There were a lot of times where you died with ulti still up this game, or you use it very late. Like now, in this case, you use it pretty late. I don't know if that made a difference in terms of damage, but I could have knocked back the MF and cancelled her ult, right? On this previous game is where you mostly had the bad fights, even though you were really far ahead. Yeah, it was this fight. Where you didn't even get a chance to use your ulti because you just walked into the Jax, right?
Yeah.
So you should also kind of move your screen. So, you know, you kind of move your screen to collect info about who engage fights. But I definitely saw a lot of improvement since last time in terms of you're farming your jungle. Like every single game, you're super far ahead in gold in terms of your team, but usually the game as well. Your macro is actually pretty good. The main issues is how you engage and participate in fights. And that's super important in lower elo because most games are unfortunately decided by fights and not macro.
Yeah.
So I think once you fix that, you'll definitely be able to climb higher. I think the most important point out of these is how you approach the fights, and your build could use a little work. But other than that, it was pretty good. Anyway, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. But obviously, you can always just DM me on Discord.
Okay. Maybe unrelated, and maybe you said it in one of your videos. What do you think about Warwick, now that he's changed?
His numbers are really high. Like they reworked him without really changing a lot, but then just buffed his
Do you think he's
numbers.
good to climb with, or should I stick to Zhao?
Well, he's the best champion right now, but I'm expecting him to get nerfed.
Yeah, me too.
Like he's more flavor of the month. Probably will get nerfed, and we'll see what he's like after the nerfs. In terms of champions, I still think Zhao is probably like he's the easiest, most straightforward champion that's still really, really powerful.
Okay.
I think Echo is probably the strongest jungler right now, but Echo is actually really hard to play. Well,
Okay.
and he could also get nerfed. He might also be flavor of the month, you know. If you want like other jungler recommendations, I would say Vi is really good. That's also somewhat straightforward and similar to Zhao if you want to play Vi.
Okay.
I think Kayn can still work since you like Kayn. Like if you go red
I
Kayn
love Kane
especially.
so much.
But again, Kayn is one of the harder champions to make work. But if you like him, I think red Kayn especially can be really good.
Good. That's my favorite one. All right.
Anything else?
Not right now. I could play more and try to apply all this.
I'd have fun. Unless you're addicted to Supervive now and you won't play Wildrift.
It's a little bit of each. If I get really salty in Wild Rift, then Supervive is a good decompressant to play in
I get
between.
that. Okay, I'll stop the recording now. Thank you for watching, everybody who made it all the way through like the 1 hour coaching session. And go check out her links in the description.
Hi, thank you.
Goodbye.